Hello everyone, and welcome to this session, Funding the Solution and Commerce of Climate Change. Let me make it simple for you. Where do we find the money to fund climate change? So that's the discussion here, and this will be a very interactive discussion and a very interactive forum. We'll have Ambassador Freddy Svane. Let me welcome him to the podium. And then our three guests will be joining us virtually in a short while. So, like I said, simplifying funding the solution and simplifying commerce of climate change. You know, when financiers of climate change talk about, getting the money, they always talk about billions, trillions, millions in these countries. But where do they get this money to fund some of these projects? First of all, before I open this session, let me just read something to you, Ambassador. Many people involved in climate finance say that a massive transformation is needed to unlock the trillions required to help the world shift to a low-carbon future and build resilience to climate change.
First and foremost, thank you very much for inviting me. I think the answer is very simple. The question is very simple, but the answer is very simple as well. We do not need money. What we need is individual responsibility. And I can take out money out of my own pocket. But if I'm not, as a human being, is not changing my behavior, like you, all of you, if we're not changing our behaviors, then you can pour in billions of US dollars and will have no impact. So it's up here, the mindset. And of course, living in a country like India, it's obvious that India has to grow. We can't tell the Indian population that you're not allowed to grow. Therefore, we have to invest a little bit of money into the green transition of India. But the money basically have to come from your own pocket. My pocket, your pocket, because we are so well off. And then the private sector is, of course, those who have to invest in that. Denmark has done a fantastic job. We have really changed our economy. And I don't believe in those who are saying that you can't have in parallel development and climate action. You can have that. The Danish economy, since the beginning of the 1980s, has doubled in size, yet the consumption of energy has gone down drastically. So there is a way, there are tools, but it will come nowhere, whether it's in India, in Denmark, in the Maldives, or wherever, if we are not changing our mindset. So money comes up here.
From the mindset.
Yes.
We'll talk about something that you actually mentioned, investing in climate change. Why is it important for us to invest in climate change? Professor Tim Smith, let me bring you into this conversation right now. We are talking about tackling climate change, which goes beyond transforming energy systems. It includes spending on reforestation, coastal defense systems, and many other efforts to cut emissions and adapt to rising temperatures. You're dealing in Australia with the changing temperatures in the coastal areas. Why is this important? Why should we change that? Why should we focus on that? Why should we focus on these changes for a better environment, Professor?
Well, thanks very much, Eric, and thanks very much for having me on the program. I think the real question is, what is the cost of inaction? You mentioned Australia and some of the things that have been occurring in Australia over the last few decades demonstrate this. In 2010, we had flooding issues in Queensland. The property damage bill was $1.5 billion. In 2019, we had bushfires. The claims for the bushfires was $2.5 billion. And just a few weeks ago, we've had incredibly significant flooding again, and the claims for those events will far eclipse the two previous events. Now, as we know, climate change impacts are getting more severe, more intense. These extreme events are going to become ordinary events. So I say that it's really about exploring the cost of inaction that's important. And I agree with Freddy about we really need to do things as individuals, but we also need to recognise that governments set the rules by which we operate. And we've recently published a paper on the tragedy of climate change science in the journal Climate and Development that was recently featured by the New York Times. And we explained that the science has been spectacularly successful, but there's just been policy failure. And I think that's really what we need to explore.
Thank you very much, Professor Team.